All right, so we're taking our knees out nice and wide, big toes together behind you. We're going to take our first few minutes together just tuning into our breaths. So really focus on bringing those inhales all the way down into your belly. So your belly's going to round with that inhale. And then on your exhale, you're bringing your belly button as close to your spine as you can. Push all of that air out, come all the way to the bottom of your breath. So you can start completely fresh on the next. So as you continue to deepen those breaths, I want you to try to use your inhales to sit a little bit deeper into your hips. So if you're on soft flooring, you might walk your knees past the edges of your mat and really try to make as much of that hip opener as possible. So I want you to leave your forehead ground to your mat, but lift your nose and begin to draw circles with it. So you're just massaging the center of your forehead against the floor, sort of allowing your head to roll from side to side. So I want you to lift your forehead, leave your left arm where it is, but bring your right arm straight across your chest. You're going to take it palm face up on the floor. Keep your shoulders square to the mat and then release your forehead back down. So you're just stretching the outside of that right shoulder. If you had to lift your hips a little bit to get here, you can sink them back toward your heels. So just press that left shoulder down just a little bit further. And then we're going to open all the way up here. So just coming all the way into that twist, you can take your gaze under the left arm, and then you're going to stretch that right arm out to the left side as far as you can. So you'll end up lifting that left shoulder and stacking it on top of your right. And then nice and slow, take your time, come back to center. Extend your right arm out. We'll do that same series on the left. You're reaching straight across your chest, hand palm face up. Bring your forehead back down and then press that right shoulder down toward the mat. And then we're going to open all the way up. So reach all the way through with that left hand, gaze under the right arm. And take your time coming back to center and then press forward. So you're just finding your tabletop, bringing your knees about hip width apart, hands about shoulder width apart. We're taking a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So on your exhale, you're going to be rounding your back, tuck your chin and pelvis under. On your inhale, drop your belly button down, roll your shoulders back, take your chin all the way up. You're just going to work through a couple of rounds at your own pace. Really try to make those motions as big as you can. And then whenever you're ready, you can curl your toes under. We're going to meet back in our downward dog. And you can take your first few moments here just walking it out, really releasing the backs of both of your legs. Excuse me. So we're going to be bringing our breath together. I'd like you to bring your big toes to touch. You're going to take a big breath in, rise up onto all 10 toes. So you're just going to shift your weight forward into your hands. Crown of your head is still dropped, ears between your biceps. Big stretch along the bottoms of your feet. Take a big breath in and exhale your heels to the mat. You do that 2 more times. Big breath in, rise up. Exhale your heels down. Big breath in, rise up. And exhale your heels to the mat. When you're ready, begin walking your hands backward on your mat. So you're bringing them back toward your feet. We're trying to keep our hips steady as we move our hands backward. And we're going to meet at the back of the mat for our ragdoll today. So feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. You're allowing the crown of your head to drop. Any arm variation that you would like here is perfect. You might sway from side to side here or shake or nod your head. Just whatever feels good in this position. Go ahead and release your hands down to the mat if they're not there yet. And then I want you to heel toe your feet together. We're not going to bring them all the way together today. So you want about a foot of width in between your feet. So like 3 or 4 inches maybe, however wide your foot is. And then go ahead and take your time rising up. You're going to sweep all the way into a standing position. We're going to take a side stretch first. So you'll take your left wrist in your right hand. We're going to lean for the right side of the room. Big side body stretch. And then I want you to really work on pulling that left shoulder back. So get as much out of that side body stretch as you can. Go ahead and come back to center. Switch your grip to the other wrist. Lean to the left. And pull that right shoulder back. And back to center. Allow your hands to separate. And I want you to come up onto your tiptoes here. So we're lifting the heels and we're just finding our balance here. Of course, the wider that you take your feet, the more stable you're going to feel here. So feel free to do that if you need to. So we're going to stay up on our toes here and we're going to work through our flow. So with control, we're going to be sweeping our arms out wide and coming all the way into a forward fold. And you're taking it slow here with control. You're not releasing your heels down until your hands come to the floor. Go ahead and release the heels once your hands hit the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands. Walk them back out to the front of your mat. Keep your hips as steady as you can here. You're coming into your plank position, so bringing the shoulders directly over the wrists. And you're going to shift that weight forward onto your tiptoes, slowly lower down, elbows shoot straight back. And all the way down onto your belly, you're going to choose the back bend that you would like. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to be back in our downward dog. So from your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands back. Keep those hips steady. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. You're going to exhale down to heart center. And as you inhale your hands back overhead, that's when you're coming up onto your tiptoes. Hold it here. Just breathe. Pull that belly button in. Take a big breath in. As you exhale with control, release all the way into that forward fold. Heels are still lifted until your hands come to the mat, and then you can release them down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you plant both hands, walk them back out to the front of your mat. Find your plank. Shift forward. lower down, take your time, back bend of your choice, and we'll meet back in downward dog when you're ready. From your downward dog, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale up onto your toes, hands overhead, hold it. Continue to breathe. A big breath in. With control, exhale, sweep the hands down. Release the heels, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you plant both hands, walk them back to the front of your mat. Work through your flow, and we'll meet back in downward dog when you're ready. From your downward dog, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale your hands overhead, up onto your tiptoes. Hold it here. Big breath in. Exhale, sweep down. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant both hands, walk them back to the front of your mat. Work through your flow. We'll meet back in our downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale up onto your toes. Exhale, sweep down with control. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, walk them back out to the front of your mat. Work through your flow. We're going to take one more sunny all together before we move into our series. From your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale up onto your toes. With control, exhale, sweep down. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, walk them back to the front of your mat. Complete your flow. We'll meet back in our downward dog. Then from your downward dog, when you're ready, I want you to kick your right foot back. And you're going to bend at the knee and roll open. So stack that right hip on top of the left. And then you might roll out your right ankle a little bit. And then take your right foot back to the sky. And then I want you to step your right foot up just outside the right pinky. So we're starting in this low lunge position for this lizard pose. And you're just going to pause here. So really press forward into that right hip. Should feel a stretch in your right hip, but also that left hip flexor. And then all at once, we're going to be pivoting that left heel down and opening up floor to ceiling. So you can keep that right hand planted on your chin. You can bring your right elbow to your right knee. You can use a block under that right hand, whatever you have. And then I want you to make this left side body as long as you can by reaching overhead. So you're just bringing that left bicep to your left ear. And we're going to be lifting that right hand. So engage the core and extend that right arm out. Continue to breathe. We're slowly reversing here. Bring the right hand back down. Then the left, up onto the left 5 toes. Kick the right foot back. I want you to keep it lifted. Shift forward, 3-limb plank. Nice and slow, lower down. Release that right foot down, complete your flow, and we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick your left foot back. Bend at the knee, roll open. Roll out that left ankle a little bit. Kick your left foot back to the sky and step it up just outside your left pinky. So we're just hanging out in this low lunge. Still got that right heel lifted behind you. Just press the hips through. We're leaving that left hand where it is. Pivot the right heel down, open up, floor to ceiling. And then we're reaching forward with that right hand, bringing our right bicep to the right ear. Lift the left hand from the floor, reach. Should look like you have an imaginary beach ball in between your hands. Stay with it. Keep breathing. We're reversing, release the left hand down. We're bringing the right hand down as we pivot back to the right 5 toes. And then we're kicking the left foot back. Keep it lifted. Shift forward. Work through your flow. And we'll meet back in our downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands backward on your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Gonna exhale down to heart center. And then while you're here, I want you to heel toe your feet together. So you're gonna be bringing your big toes to touch, your knees to touch, sort of squeezing them inward toward one another. And then go ahead and release your hands back overhead. We're gonna be dropping into our chair pose. So your heels are still grounded here. And you're just sort of sitting back like you're about to sit on a chair. So we're gonna check in with all the parts of our body that I want you to focus on in your chair pose. First and foremost, you should be able to lift and wiggle all 10 of your toes. So most of that weight is shifted backward into your heels. You can bring one hand down to your lower back, one hand down to your lower belly. And then I want you to align your pelvis to the floor. So you're sort of tucking your butt under a little bit. And then you can take your hands back overhead. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, drawn down and back. Sink a little bit deeper. I'm going to change it up here. So I want you to lift the heels, come up onto the toes. You're still in a bent knee position. So like you're about to sit in a chair, but you're wearing high heels, which is relevant to all of us because I believe it's all women on today. And then I want you to sink down a little bit. Keep the heels lifted. Stay with it. You're gonna come back to your chair pose, so come up just a little bit. Those heels are still up. We're keeping them up. And then you're gonna come to your mountain, so all the way in a standing position with heels lifted. A little bit more difficult to hold here since your toes should be touching. You've got a little narrower base. Whoa. Keep those heels up. Take a big breath in. And then nice and controlled on your exhale, sweep all the way into your forward fold. You're not releasing your heels down till your hands hit the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands. Walk them back to the front of your mat. Work through your flow. We'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick your right foot back. You're stepping your right foot up just outside your right pinky. Press the hips through here. We're going to leave that right hand grounded at the inside of the right foot. Pivot the left heel down, open up. So you're just floor to ceiling here. Press the hips through. And then we're creating that nice long line on the left side, buddy. Reach forward, left bicep to left ear. We're lifting the right hand. Engage the core. Keep that left shoulder pulled back. Continue to breathe. We're reversing. Release your right hand back down. Left hand down, left heel up. Find your low lunge. Kick your right foot back. Keep it lifted. Shift forward, three-limbed plank. Lower down. Complete your flow. And we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick your left foot back. Step it up just outside your left pinky. Hold on 1 second. I'm teaching yoga upstairs, babe. You can go grab your tablet and hang out in my bed. Okay, I love you. Sorry, guys. All right, so you're gonna plant that left hand to the inside of the left foot. You're pivoting your right heel down, right hand up. And then we're creating that nice long line on the right side body. Reach forward with the right hand, bringing your right bicep to your right ear. Without pushing off with that left hand, I want you to lift it, take it out to the front of the room. Continue to breathe. We're slowly reversing, left hand back down, right hand down, right heel up. We're kicking the left foot back, keep it lifted. Shift forward, three-limbed plank. Lower down, take it nice and slow, complete your flow, only back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. While you're here, heel toe your feet together. Big toes and knees touch. Gonna bring your hands back overhead, drop into your chair pose. So sort of check in with all those parts of your body. Make sure your tailbone's tucked under, weight shifted backwards, shoulders are down and back. And then pull your belly button in, hold it there. We're shifting that weight forward into the tiptoes, lift the heels. Everything else remains the same. We're gonna lower down. Stop right there. Heels are still up. We're gonna come up an inch. Down an inch. Stay with me here, up an inch. Down an inch. Up. Down. Hold it here. If your legs aren't shaking, I'm gonna be truly offended. Without releasing your heels back down, extend all the way up. Reach for the ceiling, up onto the tiptoes. Big breath in. On your exhale, with control, sweep into that forward fold. Release your heels down once your hands hit the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, walk them back to the front of your mat. Work through your flow. We'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, begin walking your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Heel toe the feet together. And bring your hands overhead, come up onto your tiptoes. Drop into your chair pose. I know we did it a little bit backward this time, sorry. So keep those heels lifted, and I want you to drop as deep as you can into your chair pose. So for some people, that means bringing their butt all the way down to their heels. You've got those heels lifted still. Honestly, if you can't bring your butt to your heels, you're gonna have to work a little bit harder. I'm sort of taking the lazy way out. So nice and slow, I want you to come all the way back to your mountain. Your heels are still lifted. We're going to do that again, nice and slow, all the way into the lowest position you can manage. You've got the heels up, shoulder blades down and back. We're slowly coming back all the way to our mountain. And then I want you to release the heels down. We're going to give the bottoms of our feet a little bit of love. So you're going to give yourself a little bit of a back bend. You're going to release your hands down to your lower back, and then I want you to zip your hands down your butt, lean back. So just a little bit of a back bend here. And then when you're ready, you can release your hands, and you're going to sweep all the way into a forward fold. But I want you to take your hands wherever is comfortable for you. So if you'd like a little bit of a foot stretch, we're going to be trying a gorilla pose. So you would be taking your hands palm face up under your feet. You know it feels funny, but you might need a little bit wider base here. You'll probably come into a bend in your knees. And then you're just dropping the crown of your head. You can also just bring 2 peace fingers around the big toes and sort of pull up on those big toes if your feet need a little bit more of a stretch. We've got just one more big breath here. If you've got your hands under your feet, you can carefully remove them. Begin to heel toe your feet back together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale down to heart center. Drop into your chair pose. So weight shifted backward here still. Shoulder blades down and back. Pull that belly button in, sort of tuck your butt under. Gonna take both hands overhead, come up onto your tiptoes. And you come down just a little bit. I want you to come down 1 more inch. Up an inch. Down. Up. Down. Up. Hold it here. And then we're dropping all the way into that lowest position you can muster. Heels are still lifted. Shoulder blades down and back. Try to stay relaxed through your upper body. Bring the hips back up to the chair pose. 1 more time through the pulses. Down. Up. Down. Up. Last one. Down. Woo. Up. Come all the way into your mountain. Keep those heels up. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, begin to sweep your hands down. Heels can release once your hands hit the floor. Woo. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, walk them back out to the front of your mat. Work through your flow. We're going to be back in our downward dog. So from your downward dog, when you're ready, I just want you to take your gaze forward, kick your feet through, come down onto your butt, and you're going to be grabbing onto your strap. So we're going to stretch the backs of our legs, specifically the calf muscles, because we deserve it. So you're going to allow yourself to come into a seated position, and then you're going to take your belt or your pillowcase, whatever you have, and place it around the bottom of the right foot. So you want it as close to your toes as you can so that when you pull back on your strap, you're forcing that right foot into a flexed position. And then when you're ready, you can lay all the way back. So you're drawing that right foot overhead, keeping the left leg extended. And you're just putting a lot of tension along the back of that right leg. Toes still flexed toward your face, so big stretch along the bottoms of the feet. We'll be here just a couple more breaths. And then with control, I just want you to draw yourself back up into a seated position. And we're going to do that same stretch on side B. So you're just moving your strap to the bottom of the left foot, placing it as close to your toes as you can. Keep the right leg extended out long. When you're ready, lay back, drawing that left foot overhead. Continue to flex the toes toward your face. And take one more big breath here. And then you're drawing yourself back up into a seated position. You can set that strap aside. We're going to be all finished with it. And then I want you to come into a butterfly pose. So you're bringing the soles of your feet together. Allow your knees to fall out to the sides. And then you're going to walk your butt up as close as you can to your heels before interlacing your fingers, taking them around the bottoms of your toes, and drawing yourself into a forward fold. So you can gently use your elbows to push your knees down toward the floor. And then use your feet as leverage to draw yourself a little bit deeper into your forward fold. And draw yourself back up into a seated position. So typically we take our half pigeon pose reclined or face down, but today we're going to try it in a seated easy pose. You always have the option of laying back though and creating that figure four with your legs, if you know what I'm talking about. You're going to extend the left leg out long, and we're going to bring the right leg across the body. So bring your right foot all the way up toward that left hip. We're going to start with a little bit of a twist and release that right hip a little bit. So you can plant your left elbow just outside the right knee. Right hand will plant behind you. You're just pushing yourself gently into that twist. And then you're going to come back to center, and we're going to be bringing that right leg up like we're cradling it like a baby. I know it sounds sort of ridiculous, but that's what we're doing. So you're bringing the right foot up to the inside of that left elbow, and then you can wrap your right arm around the knee and see if you can bind up. If you can't, it's not a big deal. Just try to hold on to that leg however you can. What the stretch that we're going for is along the back of this right leg. So you can sort of gently rock your leg from side to side. Be very gentle so you don't pull that muscle. So again, if this is not feasible for you or it's not comfortable for whatever reason, you're more than welcome to take that reclined half pigeon. So you would just be creating that figure four with your legs and then reaching through to bind up behind the left knee. And pull that baby in just a little bit tighter. Increase the stretch along the back of that right leg. And then gently release. You're going to set your feet side by side, just allow your knees to windshield wiper. And we're going to do that same series on the other side. So you can extend the right leg out long. Bring the left foot all the way across. You're bringing it up by your right hip. And then we're going to twist over the left shoulder. You can use your right elbow to drive yourself a little bit deeper into that twist. And then you can come back to center. You're going to bring that left leg up. You'll bring your left foot to the inside of that right elbow, and then reach around your knee and bind up your fingers if you can. If you can't, who cares? First of all, I can't even see you, so just do what you can. You should feel that stretch along the back of the right leg. And you're welcome to come into the reclined version if you prefer. Sort of walk that leg side to side if that feels good. If it doesn't, you can just stay stationary. And hug that baby in just a little bit tighter. And then very gently release the left leg down. You can set your feet side by side. Allow your knees to windshield wiper from side to side. And then I want you to lay all the way back. I have a fun core exercise to end our practice today. I'm not going to be able to talk through it. So you'll only really hear me say release or relax, and then come back up into the pose. So basically what it is a very small hollowed out hold. And if you can see me on the screen, I'm just gonna demo so I don't have to try to talk through it. But you're gonna release both hands overhead, your legs are out long, and all of your muscles are gonna be flexed. So you're engaging everything. And then when I say up, you're gonna just lift the hands and feet maybe 5 inches from the ground. So engaging, trying not to hold your breath. And then when I say release, you're just coming back down to the floor. Relax all those muscles, because when I say back up, you're going to engage everything. So go ahead and come into that laying position if you're still watching me. You've got your hands overhead, feet stretched out long. Go ahead and engage all those muscles and lift. Continue to breathe. Release. Relax all those muscles. Again, lift. Release. Lift. Release. So we're going to treat it like a little bit of a crunch this time. We're going to move a little bit more quickly, but I still want you to keep control of your movement. So go ahead and lift. Release. Lift. Release. Lift. Release. Lift. Release. Last time, we're holding it at the top. Lift. Stay with me. Continue to breathe. And release. Whew. All right, we've reached the Shavasana part of our practice, or the very best part. So you're going to come down onto your back, or any other pose that you can relax, and close your eyes. We're just going to take our last few minutes together, tuning back into our breath, or in my case, catching my breath. So just try to relax here. Allow the eyes to close, maybe the hands and feet to fall out to the sides. Focusing on beginning to breathe all the way down into the belly again. Allow the tummy to round with the inhale, fall with the exhale. So you can begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, take your limbs out long. So you're reaching overhead, pointing your toes toward the front of the mat. Make your body as long as you can. One last full body stretch. And then when you're ready, take your time rolling off to your side before pushing up into a seated position. Allow your eyes to close, your hands to come together at heart center. We're going to close our practice with 3 big breaths together. Go ahead and take a big breath in. Let it out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, sweep your thumbs to your third eye. Breathe out as you bow forward. Namaste. Hey, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I feel like this is a Friday thing. It's always all the same people. Let me unmute all of you. There.
It was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was very good.
Good. Thanks for joining me today. Oh, I guess I can
how
turn
you
this
stay up
recording.
on your toes that long.
What was that?
How you stay up on your toes